Welcome to Universal Studios Hollywood. Shortly before my last trip to the park, I rolled my ankle. While I was able to walk around the park slowly, stairs and walking on moving platforms were incredibly difficult for me. I went into guest relations at the front of the park and they told me that I could use a non-moving platform at Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, the only attraction I was a little worried about. I didn't use this to skip any lines as I already had Single Rider and Universal Express, and if anything, this made the attraction wait even longer for me, but I'll explain that in a little while. Before continuing, I'll just let you know that I got permission from Universal employees to film and publish everything that you are about to see today, so nothing is considered backstage. Heading into the castle, I headed to the express queue and told them that I needed assistance boarding the attraction. They asked me if I was able to walk on moving platforms, and I told them that I didn't think so. If I had said yes, they would have sent me up on an elevator to the regular moving platform, but instead they sent me up one floor higher so that I could go up and over the loading platform to a non-moving platform, which sits behind the normal moving platform. As I said earlier, nothing is considered backstage from what I'm showing you, so while this hallway might not be something that every guest will walk down, it is still themed so that guests who need to use this separate loading area will still get a similar experience. If you're like me and at any point you need to use this station but you'd like to see the rest of the castle, you can approach any of the team members at the base of the castle and request a castle tour. If there's enough team members and the castle tours available for that day, they'll let you walk through the castle, which is a great way to experience the castle for guests who aren't going to be boarding the attraction, aren't able to walk up and down stairs, or if you just want that extra Harry Potter experience. The load area is nowhere near as elaborately themed as the standard load area, and you do skip the beginning of the attraction with Hermione, but instead you get a whole new animation for the Floo powder, which I actually think looks nicer than the animation you see from riding just from the standard load. The music just cuts in, and at the end of the attraction, it just cuts out, so you don't get to hear Dumbledore telling you get off the vehicle. Overall, the entire experience of taking the elevator up and over and waiting for the vehicle to be available and then waiting for it to cycle into the attraction and then taking the elevator again up and over, it took about 40 to 45 minutes, which is significantly longer than it would have taken if I had just gone through Single Rider or Express. But it was an absolutely unique experience that I'm so grateful Universal Studios offered, because otherwise I would not have been able to even board the attraction with my ankle. Here's a look at what the experience was like for me on the non-moving platform, joining the attraction, and then at the end of the attraction coming back onto the non-moving platform. At this point, I was stopped at the merge area for a little while, and you can see that some of the vehicles were not going through the motions of the attraction, just facing forward the entire time. To save energy, this is what vehicles do without riders on them throughout the day. Luckily, I was going on a light day at Universal Studios, so I was able to see this. Another thing to note in this image is the vehicles are faced away from me, focusing on the wall. This is where the animation of the Floo powder is projected. If you notice, very close to the vehicle is a different animation that was taking place above me. This is the unique Floo powder animation that I was talking about earlier, which only gets to be seen from guests who are boarding from this load platform. As I said earlier, I think it looks much more intricate than the one you see on the far away wall that every other guest gets to see. As you'll see in a second when we fly by it, there's a mix of blue with green, which I think is a nice touch. I'm gonna keep talking here so I don't get demonetized by the Harry Potter music, but now we're gonna switch to the end of the attraction. The switch between the ride profile and the load-unload station is much more visible to the typical guest, but here we're gonna take an up-close look. Shortly after the final scenes in the corridors of Hogwarts, the vehicles turn left instead of turning right, and they lightly float down into the load area. It parks exactly where you saw me load, and then you can just get off the vehicle and take the same elevators and hallways back to the castle, this time exiting in the gift shop, of course. Thank you so much, Universal, for making this an option. I knew that this hallway existed, but I never thought I would ever need to use it, and I'm so grateful that theme parks take into account people with different conditions and abilities so that everyone can have a near equal experience. Thank you so much, Universal, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.